What up? It's Nizza.
This is Meds.
And we're from Demonscar, and you're listening to Metal Therapy. So, the history of Demonscar, we played our first gig back in April of '99, and we pretty much kept in contact from then. We went on to different musical projects, and really shied away from our original, I guess, root, which is metal. Just growing up, our musical interests basically are, in the same vein. We love the metal, we love the punk. Bands like Motley Crue, Metallica, Ramones, Motorhead,
Sabbath, COC, Misfits.
Yeah, so it's like basically all in the same vein. I guess for us the heavier the better, but you have to polish it so it has to sound good. So how this all came about, Demonscar, the origin of the name, I don't know. We were thinking about it for a little while, sending texts back and forth, and one that stuck with us was Demonscar. And as much as it sounded cool and everything, and I believe it was Meds that came up with the demon, so he was like, how about Demonscar? So right off the bat, Demonscar worked. So I thought that kind of looked cool.
Yeah, it took us 20 years to think of a cool name.
Yeah, that's, you gotta have a cool name. So that's part of the battle. You gotta have something that looks cool. Obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover, but a lot of people do. So you have to have something cool and enticing for someone to actually care about.
And meaningful.
Right, totally. So we were actually going to see Iron Maiden in New Jersey, and a couple days before, I was watching Good Morning America with Courtney Love, and she was having an interview, and she said destruction. So, I don't know, that's how I used to write back in the, that's my writing thing. If I hear something and it, sends off a light bulb, I could just base, a theme around it. And that word destruction just stuck out, and so I started writing, and by the time, I knew I had a couple lyrics down. So on the way to Maiden, I showed Meds the lyrics, not thinking that it was going to go anywhere, but, about a day later or two, he came up with a riff, and he had sent me a file and said, what do you think about putting your lyrics to this? So it worked. So I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So I came over his house and went into the lab, and he had already a guitar track and a drum track down. So I laid my bass down, and then I laid the lyrics down, and that's where Prey on the Prey came from. So, we looked at each other. It sounded good, a lot better than we've ever written or sounded in the past. So we're like, wow, I guess this is going to be something. So before you knew it, we busted out 4 songs, and that's what you're going to find on the Demonscar EP that we just released. A lot of the songs, they're in similar, similar subject matter and stuff. We like talking about real life things that happen, and throw little key elements in there and stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely personal songs this time around. Even Unhealed's over 20 years old. We've been playing. That song is so much fun to play. Genuine, raw, teenage, what am I doing with my life, angst and confusion. That's why lyrically the song pretty much makes no sense, because to us being a teenager, it really just made no sense whatsoever. But going to rock shows, heavy riffs, mosh pits, that made sense to us.
Right. It's actually where we felt the most comfortable. We could be ourselves, we could let loose, and go in a mosh pit and beat the hell out of each other for an hour and a half and leave and just be totally blown away. There's so many times that I would go to a show with Meds, and we'd look at each other and be like, oh man, this is something else, man. It's those moments, you know. We saw, you know, Pantera in their prime, and they have a lot to do with what we're doing now. I mean, those guys are just, you know, they're metal gods, you know, and they're just so influential, you know. You look at their stuff, you know, a lot of personal stuff is written in their lyrics. And, yeah, it was, we definitely saw, you know, I believe, metal on its most, I don't know, acceptance. Like, for when we were growing up, a lot of people shied away from it because they weren't too sure what was going on with it. It was dark, it was mysterious, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, I guess Ozzy opened the door for a lot of people, like, you know, his personal thing. He put that out there. So, like, wow, this guy's, you know, not a animal killer or, you know, devil worshiper or whatever the hell you want to label him. He's a normal guy just going up there doing his job. So it was kind of like we got into, you know, everyone started around us getting into it because metal got to a different level after that. So, yeah, we're just trying to keep that 70s, 80s metal alive, you know, when the big four were coming up. That's like what we're in. You know, we're still in that era. It's not dated. I believe those songs on all those albums have stood the test of time, you know. So we want to get out there and we want to give metal back, you know, bring it back to a nice the level that it was at, you know. So in the future, we do have a gig coming up. It's pretty cool. It's in Brooklyn, New York. It's at Lucky 13, March 24th, playing with First Jason, and that's the guy who played Jason in the first Friday the 13th. He has a metal band, so the promoter knew I was a big metalhead and a big horror fan, and we got offered the gig, so that's what we're doing. And we're gonna, you know, bring it out to Brooklyn. And our future plans, we have a couple of shows in the works for the West Coast, and being LA, you know, we're gonna go over to possibly Vegas, play there. And we're seeing that a lot of metal is appreciated, like in South America. And that's like a big fan base for us, you know. They love their metal. You know, you see all those Maiden shows in front of hundreds of thousands of screaming metalheads that like, it's like a sea of like rage. We'd love to do something like that, like play over there, or, you know, see where it brings us, you know. So, you know, at this point we have the, you know, like I said, we have the EP that we just released. Currently, you know, we're not stopping. We're just still writing. So it's even like we have another one on the horizon, and this one's fairly like, you're not even 6 months old. So by year's end, we should have another EP out, or maybe even a full length. We'll see what happens. But just as long as you know, it's welcome. We're here to stay. We're gonna rock it out and make everyone bang their head and get into it. So, yeah, we are Demonscar, and, you know, it's definitely, we're here to stay. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now. So, definitely check us out. We're on digital platforms right now, iTunes and Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon. So just search us and take a look on our Facebook page for any updates. And we'll be seeing you soon. So peace out. Later.